We are talking about the digital transformation with my special guest, founder of the Livestream universe, Ross Brand, on today's Super Boomer Lifestyle Show. Hello, everyone. Caren Glasser here, and welcome to the show. I am so glad that you're here. The Super Boomer Lifestyle Show is all about super boomers and beyond. And this is a show that's going to enhance your lifestyle, your health, empower you, and more. I am your live stream host for today. I'm actually your live stream host every single week, so it's not unusual today. And I know that we have a great show today. So if you're on a replay, I'm thrilled you're here on replay. Make sure you let me know in the comments before I'm on replay. And if there's something that really strikes a chord with you, make a comment there, because I know I'm going to come back and I'm going to respond. And I know that my special guest, Ross Brand, is going to come back and he's going to respond as well. Now, if you are on live, even better. Make sure to comment down below, because we're going to bring your comments right up onto the screen. Ross is going to be answering these questions. I'm going to be answering these questions. We're just going to have a grand old time. And lastly, if you would be so kind, share the show. There's a button right below. Click that button, share it out, get the rest of your network over here, because we need them. I need you. Ross needs you. And we're going to start the show right now. So today, my very special guest is Ross Brand. His history is pretty cool. He's the king of Livestream. He's been doing a long time. I think maybe even longer than me. Maybe, I'm not sure. But he is the host of Livestream Deals. He is also the host of Brand on Broadcasting and Livestream Universe Update. He was selected as one of the 5 live video experts to follow. How cool is that, by Switcher Studio? And he's going to be hosting the live video panel at Social Media Week in Lima, not to be confused with Lima, Ohio. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So who better to talk about technology and digital technology than the very own Ross Brand? So we're going to bring him right into the show. Ross, how are you today?
Hey, Caren, thanks so much for having me.
Well, I'm thrilled. I am so thrilled. I'm a geek. I'm a geek. You're a geek. We've talked geek before. I've been honored to be a guest on your show, and I'm thrilled that you're on the show today. And we're going to be talking about all things technology. I'm going to put a comment up here. Why not? Joey says, Ross is the king of Livestream. Love it. Yes, he is. I'm the queen, but he's the king. So this is the Super Boomer Lifestyle Show, right? So we have to talk about super boomers. I know that you're not a super boomer, but that's okay. I'm going to define it, and then I'm going to ask you, if you were a super boomer, how would you define it? I define super boomers as not being defined by their age. It's how they show up in life. It's their attitude. They're not afraid to do anything. They don't take that number and say, well, I'm a certain age and I can't do that. They are fearless. So Ross, if you were a super boomer, what would you think that would mean?
I think it means somebody who's, just living an active life in however that manifests itself, either mentally, physically, emotionally, through their work, through, keeping active in other ways, having an open and accepting mind towards technology and change without losing sort of their roots and what they're grounded in. So I think it's somebody that sort of just is able to adapt and be adaptable as time changes, and also to go after what they want in life and realize that life is getting longer and longer. People are living longer.
They are
in better health, and certainly you don't retire, relax for a few years, and then
absolutely.
You may have your retirement may go 30 or 40 years, or you may end up working until you're 70, 80, 90 because you love what you do.
Because you love what you do, not because you have to.
Right.
Ross, I'm going to make you an honorary super boomer. Is that okay?
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be part of the club.
So today we're talking about the digital transformation and how we're transforming lives through what I call real reality TV. Because, we all know that reality TV is scripted, right? You guys know that, right? It's scripted. And this is not scripted. What we do here on Livestream, I know that what Ross does and what Joey Garrity does and what Kat Willeford does, they're not scripted. They know what they're going to talk about, but they talk from the heart. And they talk in a reality sense, but real reality. So when I say digital, what does that mean to you, Ross?
Pretty much it's the age that we live in, right? We live in a digital age. Our phone is a form of digital communication. Our computers are, this form of broadcasting is all digital. It's all online. It's all delivered over the internet. It's also, it's instead of analog, which is, tape reels and all that. It's we transfer our files in ones and zeros and all. And I think to summarize, I think it's made this era really easy for people to get involved in everything from live streaming to podcasting to video creation to blogging to all these things. You no longer need to beat past the gatekeepers and have expensive equipment and studio time and all that. Anybody can really create and put their message out there and talk to people and have these conversations in whatever format works for them. But the digital world has made it all so much easier.
And possible. And, because we're talking about super boomers and we're talking about people that maybe get scared by this whole digital thing. Before we got on the show, I was telling you that my mom, God bless her, she's 83 years old. I adore my mom, and she is insistent that she's not on Facebook, but she's insistent typing to me on Facebook that she's not on Facebook. So I think there's this whole misnomer of really what social media is. Am I really in it? Am I outside of it? Am I being digital? And it's scary. It's scary for so many people. Can anyone become a live streamer?
Absolutely. This is all you need. I know we use desktop and production platform and all that and webcams and microphones, but really all you need is this mobile phone that you have, a smartphone. If you have a relatively current one and you've got a terrific camera within it,
right?
The microphone that's built into it isn't bad. There are little mics that you can add onto it.
A little lapel mic or something, yeah.
But you can certainly go live with the phone as it is, and you can communicate. And live streaming doesn't have to be a talk show like we're doing here. It doesn't have to be a press conference or something formal. It can be sharing a moment in your life, a walk down the street, a visit to the beach, playing with your kids or grandkids. It could be any number of things. You don't even have to be on camera. It's just a chance to share what you're experiencing and your life with other people in the moment, something that wouldn't, you're only going to see at that time, right? And people can engage in a conversation, whereas with recorded video, it's not the conversation. People will go back and watch, and it's great. Probably more views on these shows on replay than we do live. It's a perfectly fine way to enjoy it, but there's something special about connecting with people in the moment, whether it's people commenting in the chat on a show like this, people, putting in their thoughts on whatever it is you're showing with your phone as you're going through.
Absolutely. So it's interesting that you brought up the phone and that people can use their phone. I mean, guys, you can go live on Facebook on your phone. You can go live on Periscope, also part of the Twitter thing. You can go live on your phone. There's actually a way just to go live on your phone. There's built-in programs on your phone. All you have to do is push the button. I personally, even though I will go out and about and I'll ask people what their super boomer, what they think a super boomer is, and I'll do it on my phone, I tend to do it on the computer because of the ease of use. And this is one of my favorite cameras that I use. It connects to any kind of PC, any kind of Mac. It is the Logitech C920. I think you've seen this before, right, Ross?
Yeah, I have the 922, but I would recommend the 920 just as much as the 922. I think they're perfect for people who are live streaming from their computer.
Exactly. And it's a great way to kind of, I think, jump in. A lot of people will say, well, why can't I just use my webcam that's built into the computer? I always like to tell people that if you can it's just a little bit of money. These cameras don't cost that much. If you can improve your video, it's going to make your show a whole lot better. Also, you talk about audio. Let's talk a little bit about audio. How important is that?
Oh, I think audio is the most important part of your live video, because essentially we're doing a talk show. So if our video went out and people could still hear the conversation,
right,
they'll still stick with us. If our audio goes out, as wonderful as we are to look at, there's really no show without being able to hear the conversation. So much of what we're doing is still what we're sharing through our verbal communication. Right. And so anything you can do to upgrade the quality of audio inexpensively. You can get a microphone like this. This is the Samson Q2U. It's a little USB microphone.
Right.
You plug it right into your computer, and you can put one of these little windscreens on it. In fact, I think they come with these now. Maybe get a little boom arm to hang it on, and you're going to sound really pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
That's what I used. I mean, this is $49 to $59, and it's what I used for the first 2+ years. Then you can get a more expensive broadcast mic, but then that requires mixers and other things to make it work. But I say start simple.
Yes.
Improve your audio, good webcam, and just a USB microphone. And these also double as XLR microphones, meaning the 3-prong thing. So as you grow and you want to use
a mixer,
an on-stage mic, or you want to use it, with a mixer or a recorder or some other type of setup, exactly. You can do that. So that's what I would recommend, the Samson Q2U. Some people like the ATR 2100, but those are the two. I think they're great starting mics for this. And frankly, they're broadcasters who've been doing this for years and are extremely talented, and they're still using one of those mics.
Absolutely. And I know that you have a great resource for people to go check out. I put it up on the screen, livestreamuniverse.com/resources, because as I said, you're the master in this, and you've been doing this a long time, and you're able to share some of these resources for people to be able to use. You guys can pick up the webcam if you want in the Super Boomer Lifestyle. .com. It's there. Another thing that I like to use, and I don't have them set up over here today, is lights. And this is when you want to take the next step, right? The next step. You got your camera, you've got your microphone. Maybe the lighting's not so great. Maybe you need to add the lights. And again, you can pick these up in the store, but there's all different kinds. And let's talk about lights. I mean, there's different thoughts about how lights should be done. They should be on either side of you. They should be behind you. They should be in front of you. You should never be in a window. What are your thoughts on that?
This is an area that I still have to, get up to speed on, coming from a radio background. I've started to learn about the camera and, trying to look at the camera more instead of sort of the radio on TV thing where it's like I'm talking like this and the camera's over here. But I have lights on both sides of me. They're not, photography lights or studio lights. They're just, one's a floor lamp and one's a desk lamp, but they're on both sides of my computer. I'm in front of a window where, the shade isn't very dark, so some natural light flows in. And then the webcam I have can give a little bit of backlight fill behind me. I don't even believe I have that on now. I can see what it looks like. All right, let me just try it.
Look at that.
I think that's a little too bright, maybe. I don't know. It kind of washes out.
And so, guys, I don't want you to get freaked out by this, because Ross is giving us a whole list of things that you can move into, but you don't have to start that way. I mean, you can start with your webcam on your computer. You can start with, I use earbuds. You can start with your earbuds if you want. These are things that if you want to take your streaming to the next level, let me put up a comment right now. This is from Kat Willeford, who, by the way, Kat just started her very first live stream. She has a new show out called The Heroine's Journey, and she says, feels to me like live streaming is growing in popularity due to a hunger for connection, and in the world of social media, people talking in the moment is so needed. I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And I think you have to look at what the strengths are in each kind of medium. So What is it like something that radio does better than TV? It handles breaking news because all you got to do
Right.
is get somebody on the phone from the
Right.
situation. What is live streaming do that's better than radio or TV? And
Right.
that's facilitating these conversations amongst
Absolutely.
peers. And it's so much more unscripted than even live TV because
Exactly.
you're not reading into a segment and out of a segment, and it's not broken up by commercials and all that.
But that's why I call it real reality, because
Right.
it is real. There is not scripted. Brandi Salazar, who was on the show a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
she is one of the authors of Miracle Morning for Couples. Awesome book. She says there's something special about connecting with people in the moment, like right now. It's about shining the spotlight. Joey Garrity always says shining the spotlight on others brings the spotlight back to you. And so when we highlight people and put their comments up there, and we can converse with them and they can converse with us, I just think it's a game changer.
Yeah, and for instance, coming on your show now, I get to know people in your community better.
Right.
At some point, you're going to come on my show, and then you're going to get to know the people who show up for me each time I do a live show. And you're going to talk with them in the chat, and there's, like you said, sharing the comments on the screen and bringing in questions and all that.
Right.
They don't do that on live television, right? I have a question. I don't get to type that in the chat and they ask it to one of the guests on the show. And even in radio, it's very selective. A few people get to call in, but there's not this running chat. And in fact, live TV or live radio could incorporate a live chat with their shows. But let's not give them the idea, because it's what we have that's better than what they have.
I know. I'm laughing. So Kat says she uses a desk and a floor lamp too, just like you, as she gets going. I'm just looking here to see what comments we have here. Kat Willeford, she's laughing. She goes, LOL, I still have tape reels. Maybe I'm a super boomer in the digital age with ties to the analog. I love that. That is awesome. Tell me why you do what you do. What is the why behind what you do?
I enjoy these conversations. I enjoy talking about broadcasting, talking about live streaming and podcasting and video creation and the latest trends and the gear and the people who are doing it. I love to shine the spotlight on people who are talented at doing this, but also on people who are creating products and services in this area. I love going to the events and covering them. I just enjoy every part of the process, and I loved my time when I was in radio. I loved being on the air and all that. But it's different when you're working for a company and, being able to work independently and have my own home studio and do it the way that I want to do it and talk to the people and have the conversations that I want. I enjoying this far more than I ever did,
I get it.
My first career in broadcasting.
It totally is my passion. I want to bring up Amy. Great info. Thanks. Eating lunch with all of you. So Amy was a guest on a show a couple of months ago, and she is starting a new podcast. So Amy, I'm going to encourage you to go pick up from Ross some of these resources, because I know you've been asking me, and Ross actually has the answers. So go check them out over here and take a look at that. Ross, there's many different ways that people can follow you. They can follow you on Twitter, and that's at Ross Brand. And when they tag you, I know you're going to tag them back. You're going to respond, because that's what we do, right? Also on Instagram, at Ross Brand 1, and that's different than Twitter. Sometimes people have the same names, but notice that these are different. And these are ways they can connect with you. Right. I know that you also have a web page. I don't happen to a website. Can I send them somewhere, or is it just that simply Livestream?
Livestreamuniverse.com.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
And then there's that resources page. They can click at the top, and that'll show some of the gear that we talked about. And there should be something there for people at whatever level that they're at. And it's all gear that I've used myself or just know from my time doing this that
Right.
reviews and trusted sources and things like that. But almost
Right.
everything is stuff that I've used myself.
So, we were talking beforehand. You said, I guess you're not at social media world today in San Diego. And I said, no. But, maybe next year you're going to come. And one of the things that we talk about is the fact that when you travel and you're a geek, you have all these cords, you have your portable microphones and your cords and your phone and all these things. I happen to love this. I walk around with this. Sometimes even when I'm not traveling, I collect everything. How do you take everything with you?
So I have a compartment in my suitcase that's separated from where the clothes are, and all the wires and almost everything goes in there except the most fragile items, which go in a backpack and never leave my side. I think some type of organizer is great. I put everything in a separate plastic baggie with a tag on it, so I know what each wire is for and goes for. But I got to say, being organized like you showed there is such a huge advantage. And then traveling light as you can. Take what you need. But, I used to err on the side of taking much more than I would need just in case. And now I'm realizing that the less you take,
less is more.
Your setup is, and the quicker it is to put it together, and the less burdensome it is to carry, the more likely you're going to have it with you, the more likely you're going to go live, or you're going to record that video, or you're going to record that podcast interview. So you may not have the perfect studio setup that you have at home, but if you have, good enough is good enough. And just I think it takes away the barrier to entry in doing stuff like this. When we get caught up with I have to have all of this stuff, and then it's like you don't know where to start. Bring your phone, maybe a little lapel mic. You can wrap it up and just have it there, and you're good to go. I tend to travel with a jetpack so that I have internet wherever I am. If you're live streaming, guys, you have to have internet. So that is one of the things that you have to have. Rose says, less is more. That's right. Less is more. Any last minute thoughts you'd like to share with our audience? I'll just go with a travel thing. Another thing that's very handy is a little handheld tripod. So if you want to you want to be on camera or bring somebody else on, you can hold it away from you. Of course, you can do it with your hand. But if you have something that stretches out a little bit, then you can show behind you and so forth at events. And also it's easier to get more people into the image. So I think that's so hugely important. And then, the rest of everything is really in your phone. I mean, it's all there, and you can record good audio, and you can record good video with your phone. And do it. That's what I say. You do it. And then if you realize there's an area that could be improved by some gear, then get the gear that kind of levels up to the content you're creating. I think when people run out and they get a lot of gear first, and then they realize, okay, my content, what am I doing? Like, I've just spent it puts a lot of pressure on you. It's like, I spent all this money and I don't have a hit show yet or whatever.
Right.
Like, start doing things with the tools that you have.
Right.
And then, like I said, getting a microphone for your desktop broadcasts, or as Caren mentioned, the webcam, those two things are really essentials. You can't go wrong with that. But other than that, get things as you need them. God, my show's good now, and the lighting could be better. Let the gear come up to the level of your broadcast.
I love that. That's a great quote, Russ. Let the gear come up to the level of your broadcast. I love that. I know that somebody's going to put that quote down there, Joey. I love that. I really do love that. I really enjoy talking with you, maybe because we kind of like the same thing, but you're a great guy. And you are showing people how they can do this with little or no technology. Basically, they can take their phone and just go out there. Guys, if you're watching live, you're watching on replay, tell me when you are going to go out and do your first live. If you haven't done a live yet, let me know when you're going to do your first live. If you have done lots of lives, put your show in there. I'd love to see where your live shows are so that we can go visit and watch your show. So put your live shows down there. Kat, make sure you put your live show in there. Joey, put your live show. Rose, I know you have a live show that's coming out. Put your shows there. We would love to support you and share you out. Ross, thank you for taking time out of your very busy day. I know that you have lots of things going on, and I so appreciate you.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. This is so much fun. I see we are very much like-minded on live streaming and the whole digital media experience. So it's great to be here, and can't wait to continue the conversation.
Absolutely. I get to come on your show next. Have a great evening, and we will talk soon. I'm going to drop you into the green room. And I'm ready to do my super boomer moment. And this is the time where I talk about something that struck me that I really want to share with everyone. You know, I love technology. I do. I love technology. But even I get overwhelmed by the amount of new technology that's out there. Sometimes I will look at things that come into my email box and I'll say, oh, I don't want to learn another thing. My head is already exploding. But you know what? I remind myself that maybe I don't need to know everything. Laugh out loud. I think I do. Because when we're the experts, and I'm sure Ross will say the same thing, you do need to know what's out there. So I encourage everyone that as you jump into this, reach the level of what you're doing. You, as Ross said, you do not need to jump in and become that expert live streamer right off the bat. Kat, I'm sure you would tell us the same thing, right? I want to thank everyone for being here today, because we know that you have a choice as to how you spend your time, and you chose to spend it with us. We are eternally grateful. So go out and give somebody an awesome day, and join us next week on the next episode of the Super Boomer Lifestyle Show. Goodbye, everyone.